Welcome, welcome. This is our second teacher talk hosted by Cox Campus, and we have these three lovely ladies with us. Jasmine, Brittany, and Julia. You want to wave? We will give a more introduction in a second, or a better introduction in a second. But we just want people to be coming in a little bit and wait. We just got started. It's only 4:01, so I know a lot of people will be slowly trickling in. Welcome, everyone. I see Diane. Hi, Diane. Welcome, everyone.
Hello.
We are going to have fun. This event is from 4 to 5. We are just going to kind of introduce ourselves at the beginning, have a little bit of a check-in to know our audience. Then we're going to have an icebreaker. Then these three ladies are going to share how they are tackling and what their experience is on this virtual learning and distance learning. And then at the end, we're going to have 15 minutes of a Q&A where we can just ask them any question that we want, and they will answer them. And but you can ask as many questions as you want throughout this live event. We will try to answer as we go a little bit. We will not be the ones answering. We have a team. Some of our Cox Campus team members and Drew team members will be answering the questions live, so we don't have to type and talk at the same time. And those people, our team members, are Corey, Shantae, Mary, Jasper, Ashley, and Katie. And so you'll see some of their names pop up and they might answer. And so that's who they are. Welcome, everyone. I see more people coming in. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Katie. Hi, Cheryl. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so this is our second Teacher Talk Cox Campus live event. These are three teachers from Drew Charter School in Atlanta, Georgia. And these are the teachers that have really helped develop and bring to life all of the practices that are taught on the Cox Campus courses. You will actually see, when you go through the Cox Campus courses, you'll probably see the tagline Drew Charter. We have lots of Drew Charter teachers in our courses on our videos. So this is Jasmine, Brittany, and Julia. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, so my name is Jasmine Williams. I've been teaching for 8 years now. 6 of those years have been at Drew. 4 of those years were in pre-K, 2 other ones in kindergarten. And I'm happy to be here to share these resources with you guys. So thank you for having me.
Thanks, Jasmine. Brittany, do you want to go next?
Sure. My name is Brittany Swan. I have been teaching for 14 years. And this is my 3rd year in pre-K. I have also taught 1 year in 2nd grade, and I've also taught all the other years in 1st grade. But it's been great working with the pre-K students. I never thought I would teach pre-K, and I love it. So I'm so happy to be a part of this team. I'm so happy to work with the Cox Campus as well. It's been a great partnership. So, and I'm very excited about this event today. So,
yeah, thanks. Hey, Julia.
Hey, I'm Julia Watkins. I've been teaching since 2010. I've been teaching at Drew for 7 years, right?
Yeah.
And I've been teaching pre-K 7 years. So, and I love it. I'm so excited to be sharing with you. I am a little nervous, just going to go ahead and put it out there, even though I can't see you guys, but I'm really excited though to share this stuff with you guys.
It's so funny. Like right now, I feel like we have seen our faces more than we ever have in our life. You were just like running around with this mirror on, doing these Zoom calls and all of these live events. Yep, definitely.
It's funny because you're like, do I look at the camera? Do I look at the screen? Like, what does it look like? What are other people seeing? Yeah.
I know. We are good. And I know that all of our teachers and everyone watching feel the same way when they do Zoom call and Facebook Live. So we're all in this together. Okay, I'm seeing more people come in. Hello, hello. Hi, Michelle. I'm not getting everyone, but I'm trying to say hi. Hi, Shantae. Hi, Anita. Okay, so we're 6 minutes in, I think. Hi, Ashley. I think we can kind of get things moving along a bit. So again, I just want to remind you all, you can ask questions, you can comment throughout the entire event. We're going to try to keep up with them and try to answer as we go. But again, if we don't get some of your questions, there will be time at the end, 15 minutes allotted for a Q&A with Julia, Brittany, and Jasmine. So we will try to get to everyone. We're going to do a quick check-in before our icebreaker, just because we really want to know our audience to help us, tailor our answers to a lot of your questions and be a little bit more specific when we are talking about our certain resources that we'll be sharing today. So the first question, where are you from? If you can just comment in this chat thread, we would love to know where you're from. And can you give the city and the state? Because I'm not all of my cities. So share where you're from. Share what you teach. I'm sure that there will be a lot of pre-K teachers, preschool teachers, kindergarten teachers in this group. This conversation is really geared towards pre-K. Not all of our live events will be geared towards the pre-K audience, but this event and this series partnering with the Cox pre-K teachers at Drew Charter will be geared towards the pre-K classrooms. Okay, let's see.
Wow, all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I see Atlanta, Roswell, so close by, but then we've got Clinton, Mississippi. Where else are we? Williamsburg, Virginia. Cool.
So Nashville and Chicago.
Oh, look, LaGrange, Jasmine.
Oh, LaGrange, you remember where
LaGrange. Is that where you're from, Jasmine?
That's where my parents live.
Oh, okay.
I would love to see some Ohioans up in here, though. That would be cool.
I just saw California. Shout out to the West Coast. That's where I'm originally from.
Yeah.
San Jose, though, the Bay Area.
Okay. And if you can also share what you teach, so what age group you're teaching, we would love to know that too. Hi, Kevin. We've got some veteran teachers, 26 years of teaching.
Amazing.
Welcome everyone. Illinois. Okay, and then another question we have is just, are you teaching right now? And kind of what does that look like? Are you in a center? Are you in a school right now? Or are you doing all virtual and distance learning? Or are you not teaching at all? So are you teaching now? And if you've just come in, we are doing a check-in to just really know our audience a little bit better. And you can see people are commenting where they're from, what they teach, and if they're teaching now.
I think I saw some Ohio folks in the crew, Jasmine.
I know, I was going to say, I saw an Ohioan in there. Oh, 8.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm seeing some Sheltering Arms folks as well. So we have one right down the street in our East Lake neighborhood. So thanks for joining us.
Yes.
This is so fun seeing all of the people that are coming in, people that you know, or that you're familiar with your center, or just they live in cool locations and we're jealous and we want to be in LA too. No. Okay, so I see a lot of us are in. A lot of us are answering. We're checking in. I'm going to wait until a couple more come through. But then we're going to get started with an icebreaker. Just a quick icebreaker. Some people are currently not teaching. But I want to be kind of keep us on schedule. It's already 4:11. We will kind of get back to this in a second. We're going to look at an icebreaker to have a little more fun before we get started. So I'm going to share my screen. If you know me, you know that this is like my perfect icebreaker. I'm a total foodie. And the icebreaker is, what is your go-to quarantine snack? And again, if you're like me, you have been spending a lot of time snacking and going to the kitchen. So share what your quarantine snack is. Mine, I've been doing a little bit of baking, and I have made some cinnamon apple muffins that were originally for my son, but that I've been eating, well, I know that I've been eating most of them. So I would love to hear some good snacks, some healthy snacks that I need to be snacking on, getting into. Julia, would you like to share what your go-to quarantine snack is?
I'm not much of a snacker, but I always go for cheese and crackers. I know that sounds really simple, but I just love a good cheese and crackers with some salami or something. And I love it.
I love that too, but I am. Okay, what about you, Brittany?
I am not far from the cheese and crackers, but I've been doing like a spicy hummus with these pita. I guess they're crackers. Pita, they're like between chips and crackers, but pita crackers, and they're the Mediterranean flavored ones, and so it's like so good. And then you could put a little cheese with it, and it's like perfect.
Oh yeah. I've been seeing a lot of hummus on here, so there are others, and lots of cheese. So chips and salsa. I'm with you, Jasper.
That's a good one.
Okay, Jasmine, what is your go-to quarantine snack, if you have one?
Yeah, I've been trying to surround myself with good choices because it's so hard to make them. But I love dried mango. I've been tearing through some dried mango. Basically, to me, like nature's fruit roll-up. So I love it.
Do you have a certain brand? I'm interested.
I go to the farmer's market, and they just have it. They have it there, and it's really fancy. That's like my little treat yourself shopping experience. So I just go in there.
Oh, awesome.
Trader Joe's has a good dried mango too.
That's what I've heard. Trader Joe's. That's what I've heard. Okay, I see lots of ice cream. I'm with you, Ashley.
Oh yeah.
I'm healthy.
Oh, Laura's eating dried mango from Costco right now.
Oh yeah, Ashley. Mango too. I have got to give it a try. Okay, so please keep commenting what your go-to quarantine snack is. Again, I really need some inspiration on some healthy stuff. So please keep writing that or entering in your comments. I love looking at them. But we are going to kind of reintroduce and then get things started. So again, welcome everyone. This is our second teacher talk hosted by Cox Campus, and we are with 3 lovely teachers from Drew Charter School in Atlanta, Georgia. And I've seen a lot of Atlanta people coming through, a lot of Atlanta teachers in our audience. So these are the teachers that have really helped develop and bring to life our practices, and that are all on the Cox Campus courses. And they will be talking to us today about how they are navigating through these times of just virtual learning, distance learning. So this is obviously extremely relatable. We're all in this together, and a lot of us, have a lot of resources because this has never happened. So I know that we'll have a lot of really great questions for these teachers. And I just can't wait to hear what you have to say and to hear what you all have to say too. So would you like to reintroduce yourselves again, and then we can get things started? So Julia, if you want to go first and kind of just give a little bit of background just for the people who are just coming through, and then we can go to Brittany and Jasmine.
Hey, I'm Julia Watkins. I've been teaching since 2010. I've been at Drew for 8 years and teaching pre-K for 7 years. I'm really excited to be here, really excited to share with you guys. So. Brittany?
Hello, everyone. My name is Brittany Swan. I have been teaching for 14 years, even though it does not feel that way, but I have. And I've been teaching pre-K now for 3 years. I have taught second grade and first grade as well, and fell in love when I came to pre-K, even though I never thought I would be in pre-K, but it's been an awesome experience.
And hi, my name is Jasmine Williams. I've been teaching for 8 years. 6 of those years have been at Drew, and 4 of them have been in pre-K. I think pre-K is the best. I've had a lot of time. I have had a lot of fun teaching it, and we're excited to share these resources with you guys. So thank you for having us.
Okay. I'm still seeing more people come in, so we might have to kind of share this again, ladies. But if you want to start and get things rolling a little bit, I know we would love to hear what you have to say.
Okay.
Some people's internet are going out a little bit. I think we're good. Just waiting on some questions, I think, coming through. Some people are still checking in. Hi, Laura. Infants and toddlers. Waiting on some questions, I think. Okay, so someone has a question that we can kind of jump into. We don't see your name, but it just says Facebook user for on our end. But it just is saying, how has virtual learning been for you all, and what's the best platform for you to use to communicate with your students? We will probably get to that question, and most of these questions we can answer a little bit while we're kind of sharing what we were planning on sharing, but we will definitely get to all the questions at the end of the event for the 15-minute Q&A. But Jasmine, do you have, would you like to get started on what you want to share with everyone?
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to. So what I'll be sharing with you guys today is basically how we work on our lesson plans, how we formulate them, and the resources that are available to you on Cox campus that aid us in our lesson planning goals. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is our implementation plan, and I'll go ahead and pull it up so y'all can see. Yeah, so the, excuse me, the implementation plan, I want you to think about that as kind of like your scope and sequence for phonological awareness. And it's basically a timeline that shows you when you should be teaching various phonological skills. For example, we start off with word awareness, then we move on to syllable awareness, and then down to rhyming and onset and rhyme. And it's nice because it paces out the skills that we need to address during the course of the school year. And it's aligned with our state standards, which are our GELDs, or Georgia Early Learning and Development Standards. So the plan starts off with teaching you how spoken language works. And it moves towards developing more phonemic awareness skills. And Brittany is going to talk with you a little bit more about phonemic awareness and explain the difference between that and phonological awareness. But utilizing the implementation plan is really helpful because it explains what your year-end goals are for pre-K, and it tells you when you should be doing your pre-assessment, your mid-year assessment, and then also your post-assessment at the end of the school year. And it's also really helpful because we use it to create our skills at a glance, which is what I will show you next. So I'm just going to switch over to the next document. Right here for your patience. All right, so the skills at a glance, this is just an example of one that we've been using for our current unit, which is things that grow. And I know that you guys already learned about this last week, but we just wanted to reiterate how valuable this is for us in our lesson planning, because it basically serves as a guide for planning out our lessons. And what it is, it's a timeline that shows you when to teach. Oh, excuse me, let me keep going. So basically what we do, I apologize for that, is we look at the standards and we determine what content we're going to teach and what we want our students to glean from the unit, right? So then we don't necessarily address our GELDs or our standards in any particular order, but we do plug them in where we see or we think they would fit best. So for example, with things that grow, we decided to work, our math skill that we're focusing on is measurement. And so we put that there. But when we're planning our unit, we come up with a problem or a driving question, and that helps us plan out the unit and come up with activities. And the skills at a glance is kind of like a graphic organizer that organizes these activities and the skills, or the resources that you can find on Cox campus, like our Start Story Reads. It just lets us know where we can plug things in, or our real-time activities. You can also see pack activities are posted in here as well. And so it helps us kind of organize where we want to put everything in. And so as you can see, our skills at a glance is broken up into, it tends to be about 4 to 6 weeks for a unit. And then once we have that filled in, we can look at week 1 and decide how we're going to come up with our lesson plans, or what we want to focus on for our weekly lesson plan or our daily lesson plan. And basically what I wanted to share with you is just a little model that has been helpful for us for coming up with our lesson plans. I want you to kind of think of it like a funnel. I know when we were back in maybe middle school and you're in 5th grade, your teacher might have shown you, oh, when you are writing a 5-paragraph essay, you need to start broad and become more specific, right? So I have a little presentation for you to just help you see what that idea looks like. It's loading right now. So let's see if it comes up. Actually, let me start at the beginning and not at the end. Here we go. Okay, so let's start that again. All right, so it's basically just a funnel. So at the beginning, you have your implementation plan, right? It's very broad. It spans the entire school year, and it's a timeline for your phonological awareness topics, right? And you use this to create your skills at a glance, which comes next. So the skills at a glance, it's more specific. It's like a graphic organizer for your standards and your skills, or where you can plug in those resources from Cox Campus, like Pack Time, Real Time, and things like that. And then it's broken up into 4 to 6 week chunks, and it serves as a guide for your lesson planning. The next thing would be your lesson plan, which of course, you know, should be very detailed. It focuses on what you're teaching that week or that day. And it's your time to shine as a teacher. And of course, it helps you get to the point, which, forgive me for that pun, but I couldn't help myself. So I hope that someone's laughing somewhere. And then if you're wondering, oh, where are our standards in all of this? They are everywhere. You should see your standards in the implementation plan. You should see them at your skills at a glance and in your lesson plan as well. They're just sprinkled all over the place. And yeah, so that's the end of my part. The next thing that you'll be learning about is how lesson planning works for us. And Julia is going to speak more to that point. So
okay, right before Julia speaks, one, I loved the pun. And two, GELDS is the Georgia standard. So if you're coming from anywhere else and you were wondering what does GELDS mean, that's just the Georgia standards. Okay, Julia, go for it.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Jasmine. So I'm going to kind of talk about what, how we create our lesson plans typically, and then how that's translated to e-learning. So I just want to reiterate what Jasmine said. Skills at a glance is so crucial and so critical for our lesson planning. I actually keep it on a tab on my computer at all times, just because it's so critical just to be able to reference back to it or look back to it, especially when making your lesson plans. So when we create our lesson plans, we look back at it to see, okay, what start read are we doing this week? What math skills are we teaching this week? What literacy skills are we teaching this week? And the really cool thing about it is, there's 4 classrooms at Drew, and we all have very different teaching styles. But the best part is that we're still teaching all the same skills. It just might look a little bit different from classroom to classroom. But either way, all the kids are getting the same skills. So what we do is we collaborate together as a team to create our lesson plans. We start by creating our whole group lesson plans and our small group lesson plans. And like Jasmine said, those are more detailed. So we do this in a Google document that we keep in a shared Google Drive that is extremely organized. Thank you, Mr. Bloomingdale. Little shout out. So when we make our whole group plans, we start off with a skill. So we look back at that skills at a glance. We list the skill, we write the materials we need, and then we do the step-by-step instructions. And since whole group is so short, it's about 10 minutes, it's a pretty short plan. And the other great thing is you can reuse these from year to year. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every year. So it's great to have it in a Google Drive where you can access it easily. And then for our small group plans, we make more detailed lesson plans for those too. And we start off with the skill that we're teaching that week. We put in the materials, and then we do a step-by-step instruction. And the way that we organize our small group plans is through the I do, we do, you do strategy. And so we list, like, how would we model the skill? How do we practice with the children? And then how do they do it independently? And then how we assess them. So we have these in Google Documents. And then we create a master plan, which I'm going to show you. And it's not as detailed. It follows our daily schedule, and it's for the whole week. So I'm going to show you what that would look like. I'm going to show you one from our unit, World of Color. Let's see, scroll down, sorry. I'm going to show you this lesson plan. And it kind of just gives just a shorter version. It'll give like a title of the lesson plan and a little blurb. It won't go into detail. And so then you know to go back and access the, sorry, I forgot to switch back. Then it shows you how to kind of access the, sorry, I'm new to this. Let me scroll through this. Can you see it if I'm scrolling through? Is that working? Yeah, okay, sorry. Okay, so then you can see that there's, like for this math whole group, you can see that there's just the title and then there's a little blurb. It doesn't go into a lot of detail. And then another thing I'd like to note is that our centers are all centered around our anchor text or our start read and the unit. So this week we were reading The Lion and the Little Red Bird, and in that story, the lion painted with natural things like berries and flowers, and then at the art center, they were painting with that. I'm trying to slowly get there, but you can see we just kind of make it cohesive so it all kind of sticks together and pertains to the unit and it's intentional.
I'm just going to chime in for a second, Julia. On her lesson plan, she referred to the start read. So for the audience who might not be super familiar with Cox Campus or just become members of Cox Campus, the start read is our read aloud strategy. And you can find it on our website, but then the course that you would take is called Transforming Storytime, and that is for the start strategy, which is what she called her anchor text. And she referenced, the book that you referenced was
The Lion and the Little Red Bird.
And we actually have that start guide. If you would like to look at it, it's on the Cox Campus in the resource library. Okay, sorry, Julia.
No, it's okay. That's awesome. Okay, so this is what it usually looks like, and we keep that in our Google Drive. But obviously, this would be super overwhelming to send to parents right now. So we decided to create, we collaborated and decided to create something that we call the Elearning Grid, and it covers our start reads, our literacy skills, math skills, and music and movement, and additional resources. And I'm going to show you what that looks like as well. But before I do, I just want to say that the lessons that we created for this grid are straightforward. They're mindful of what supplies kids have at home, what kind of resources that they might have at home. A lot of the feedback we got from the parents were, can you send home things that they can do a little bit more on their own, a little bit more independently. So we tried to be mindful of that. Obviously, not everything can be done that way, but we linked videos of us reading. We linked, and then we created little lessons in Google Documents with a shareable link that we put in. So it's really neat and organized. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. And it's not as overwhelming. It's really straight. It's just, it looks really nice. And we've gotten a lot of really great feedback.
What was it called again?
We call it our e-learning grid.
E-learning grid.
So, or virtual learning grid. But so you can see that we have the different columns. Is it up?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay. So you can see that we have our read alouds, the literacy, which are our PAC skills. We have the math, music, and movement, and additional resources. And then all of these are links, and they're either YouTube videos or the Google document that I referenced before for parents to click on. And then we let them know to pick and choose what's appropriate for them and for their family and for their schedule. So, and it goes through the whole week. And then Friday we add some fun activities, some STEAM activities that pertains to the topic.
That's awesome. I love how you have the links there too to make it really, really easy for them.
Exactly.
And it's
so
very
straightforward and
very user friendly.
Yeah, exactly.
Another thing that I like is that you did not use the Cox Campus Strategy acronym, just because that can be really confusing for parents as well, being that they might not be super familiar with Cox Campus. And I'm just going to plug in again because you said PAC, and some of our audience are, they're new members on Cox Campus and they might not be really familiar. So can you just say real quick what PAC is?
Yep, that was actually, perfect segue, because that was my next little chunk, so it's perfect. And what I wanted to say, so PAC is our phonological awareness, alphabet knowledge, and then the C stands for concepts of print. And these are strategies from Read Right from the Start that we use all throughout the school year, and we were purposeful in putting it into our virtual learning grid, because they're just the building blocks for literacy. They're the most important things, and they're going to be so beneficial for the kids going into kindergarten. And so Brittany is actually going to explain a little bit more about how we send and create lessons for PAC time. She's going to talk about the P in PAC time and give you a little bit more background on how we do that.
Alrighty, so yes. So like Julia was saying, we do have within our lesson plans, we do have a PAC section, which is the Phonological Awareness, Alphabet Knowledge, and Concepts of Print. So even with our current situation with our e-learning experience, we still wanted to focus on that, which could be a little difficult when we are not necessarily in the classroom seeing our kids face to face. So just to give those of you a little background information about phonological awareness. So the phonological awareness is basically focusing on the sounds. We are not doing phonics. We are not associating the sounds with the letters. We are just really focusing on the words and the sounds that they hear. So phonological awareness, we are focusing on syllables and onset and rhyme. So it's basically taking word chunks. And then with phonemic awareness, we start to break those sounds down even more, where we have individual sounds. So then we're focusing more so on the beginning sounds, the ending sounds, and then we start doing blending and segmenting sounds as well towards the end of the school year. So we do a whole group PAC lesson, usually in the classroom, and then we usually break out into small groups to kind of help focus on those certain skills and meeting the kids at their levels. And so since we are unable to do that at this time, we have been creating short little videos that still give that whole group lesson. And then we follow up with an activity that parents can do with their children at home, again, using materials that are easily accessible to them at home. So it might be a game of I Spy, it might be a treasure hunt. It could even be going to set the table and then asking your kid to get certain things by segmenting sounds. They have to blend it together. And then then they have to go get the orc. And so they blend those sounds together, and then they are practicing those sounds. So I am going to actually share with you guys a little video that I created, which always is interesting hearing your own voice, but it's a short video that I created with my students, or for my students, excuse me, and during this e-learning time. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's see here. There we go. Can you guys see that there?
Here we go.
Oh, wait, actually, let me try it one more time because I want to make sure that we have the sound there. I don't think I checked that box when I did the share the screen. So I'll do that one more time. Get it ready. Okay. So here we go. There we go. Okay. Now you guys will be able to hear it.
Okay, let me share it real quick. Here we go. There we go.
Video all right, is it up? Okay, great.
It's up, Brittany.
Hey Pre-K, it's Miss Swan, and today we are going to play Mystery Box. So to play this game, I'm going to give you some sounds. You're going to blend those sounds together and then guess what's inside the mystery box. Are you guys ready for your first word? Awesome. first word is s, t. Listen to those sounds again. S, t. Blend those sounds together. What do you get? Do you know what's in the mystery box? The answer is vest. If you guessed vest, you got it correct. Let's try another one. All right. Our next word is k or n. Let's listen again. K or n. Blend those sounds together. You could even stretch it out. What do you think's inside this mystery box? Are you ready to find out? The item is corn. If you guessed corn, you got it correct. Let's do another. All right, here's our next word. Soup. Let's blend those sounds together. Let's even try stretching it out. Soup. When you put those sounds together, what word do you get? If you know what's inside the mystery box. Let's see what it is. The word is soup. If you blended those sounds and got the word soup, you got it correct. Are you guys ready for your next word? All right, here we go. A. Let me hear you guys put those sounds together. Let me hear it. One more time, those sounds are a. Do you guys think you know what's in my mystery box? Let's find out in 3, 2, 1. The word is rake. You got it. Let's do one more together, okay? All right, friends, here's our last word. Here we go. Or. Stretch out those words, blend them together. Let's try it again. Horse. If you put those sounds together, what is in my mystery box? Have you guessed it? Well, if you guessed the word horse, you got it correct, friends. You guys have done such an awesome job today. Now I want you to practice at home with your parents and your family, trying to identify some of the words they might be trying to tell you. Blend those sounds together and figure out those mystery words. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
All righty. So,
wait, before you go on, Brittany, we have a moment of silence.
You got those funky jams, man.
that's so embarrassing.
I love the music. I love the video, and that lesson was incredible.
Thank you so much.
Your goal. That was so awesome.
Well,
Okay.
for all of you who are out there who are like, how can I do that? It's super simple. I literally had my sister record it from my phone, and we just pressed, we stopped recording every time I switched out an object, but and then I just put some music to it with iMovie and put it all together with some transitions. And again, we want to keep it short and sweet, because who knows like how much attention those kids are, staying on that screen. So I didn't want to make it too long, but we just definitely want to make sure that the kids are still getting that knowledge, even though we're not in a classroom. And also allowing them to have that think time. So allowing that wait time in the video, which could kind of seem like it's forever when you're doing a video and you're by yourself, but allowing them to have that think time is really important as well. So, and then again, those follow-up activities to go along with it after they've watched that video to kind of practice the skills that we've introduced. Yeah. So that's what we're doing now. It's very similar to what we do in the classroom. I've done that same lesson in the classroom, and just now I just put it on a video. So,
and what great inspiration for, obviously for us and for our audience, but for parents too, to see like how well you modeled your I do, and they could really copy that and do that at home, for the rest of the summer too. So, That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think it's really important for parents to also see that, like, you can make it into a game. It doesn't have to be like, let's do this work now. And I think that's the great thing about teaching pre-K is that a lot of the things we do, the kids don't even know that they're learning something. Like, they're just having a good time. And so everything is a fun and interactive game. It's hands-on, and that really helps in the learning experience.
Absolutely. Okay, so now I think it's time for our Q&A. It's 4:45, and we only have 15 minutes left. Which I hate that. I mean, I feel like this has gone so fast. I'm going to try to look through some of the questions. We have so many questions. We have over 100 people watching right now. So we have a lot of really, really great engagement. And I'm going to start with Miss Valerie Porter. She asked, what's the best platform to use to communicate with your students? So if Jasmine, go for it.
I won't say that it's necessarily the best platform, but I love using Flipgrid to communicate with our students, because what we'll do is in that lesson plan that Julia posted earlier, we'll have a hyperlink to a question that corresponds with an activity that we want to focus on, whether it be math or one of our story reads, our start reads. And we'll record a video of ourselves asking our students a question, and then they get the opportunity to record a video of themselves answering that question. And it's so nice to be able to see their adorable faces still and see what they come up with work-wise. So that's, to me, that's been my favorite platform to use. So if you're not using Flipgrid, I would definitely recommend it. And it's really user-friendly too.
And the kids think they've created their own YouTube channel, so they get really into it.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say that they try to imitate what, like, Miss Jasmine recorded herself where she was pretending like she was caught off guard, and it was like, oh, I'm just planting right now, just, oh, don't mind me. And so some of our students have imitated her and have responded doing that and recording themselves. It's so funny.
That is really fun. Okay, so that's called Flipgrid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also, just to throw this out there, all of the links that we have, or all of the resources and everything that we've talked about these last 47 minutes, they will be linked to this Facebook Live event. So at the end, you will see all of these resources. Everything that we've shared on our screen and everything we've talked about as well will be linked to this resource. So you don't have to dig around. We will have them for you. So the next question, so thanks, Miss Valerie. The next question we're going to go to, is it Davida? I hope I'm saying your name right. Davida Grabber. It says, can you please give us an update on how often and how you are distance learning with your classes? So I'm guessing like how often you're meeting with your children, how often you're meeting with your families, or what are you all doing?
Okay, so we each kind of have figured out what works best for our classroom as far as like how often the parents feel comfortable meeting, because we want to respect their schedule as well, as most parents are having to juggle working from home and working with their children. So we all are doing a show and tell on a weekly basis. So that's kind of a way for us to check in with the students, and we use Zoom to meet with them. And then sometimes during that time, after they've done their show and tell portion, we'll kind of do a breakout session and put them into small breakout rooms through Zoom and do just like a quick review of some of the things we've been talking about throughout the week in our lesson plan. And so that would literally be maybe like 5 minutes, something really quick. But then I know, like, for my classroom, we just do a weekly, our parents said they want to have a weekly check-in. So we do a Monday weekly check-in with our parents on Zoom just to see if they have any questions about the lesson plans that we sent out, any technology issues. And that's just aside from like us having a private conversation with parents if we need, just touching bases with them. But that's just a time for all the parents to kind of say, oh yeah, I also had, this question as well. So let's just all answer it here in one platform in one place. And I think with the students, it's about, everyone's kind of meeting with them at least twice a week.
Okay, that actually leads to the next question. And it's from the same person, Davida Grabber. And what have the responses been from parents? So you kind of touched a little bit on your parents wanting to meet regularly, like once a week. So what have the response from your parents been, and are they happy with the amount of communication?
I feel like we've gotten a lot of great feedback from the parents. I think in the beginning, they were asking for more in terms of the lesson plans, they're asking for more independent things because obviously they're trying to work or they need their computer. So we tried to be responsive to that. But I would say they really like what we're sending home, but they said, they may not always be able to do it. I feel like that's been a kind of a general consensus.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
We really have stressed, like, these are, here are some resources for you, but we understand, like, it's not here for you to make sure you do every single thing that's in this lesson plan, but we want to make sure parents have enough that when they need it, they have it there and they don't have to go searching for anything extra. So we definitely, stress that point to them, but, they know, like, pack time, those skills are super important, or math, so most parents seem to focus on that. But they're aware that we're not going to be grading their students on their work.
Yeah. So along the same lines, a question from Miss Shanna Renee says, how do you handle a parent who hasn't replied to any emails, hasn't replied to messages or Zoom calls? How have you handled that?
I would say we've had a couple of students that we haven't been able to have contact with as much. And we've just been trying to approach this situation with as much compassion as possible, because you don't really know what someone's situation is like at home. And so one of the things that we've just trying to communicate is that we're here to help. We're here to support you in any way that we can. These are the resources that we have available, and we miss your child so incredibly much. So please reach out if you need anything, but we're always here. That's what we've been trying to do in the classroom, but it's hard. We're living in a really interesting time right now. And so, yeah.
And I know for our school counselor has made it clear, like, if there is a family that you've been unable to reach, to let the counselor know, because then they'll do what they can to reach out to them and try to make sure, like, everything is okay. So we definitely have been checking in with our families every week personally, just to send them a message or a phone call to make sure, like, we are here for you guys too. We understand that, there are some families that are struggling. And so whatever you guys need, please let us know so we can help you out with that as well. So, but yeah, if we can't get in contact with them, we definitely, start to move up the chain of authority and definitely let our school counselor know so they can be aware of that as well.
That was such a beautiful answer, Jasmine. And Brittany, you just answered the next one. It's with Miss Veronica. It's like you see the questions that I'm reading. So this is from Miss Veronica Gutzman, and she said, what do you say to parents when they are overwhelmed with their children and financial issues and things like that? And you kind of just, talked about checking in with the families and talking to the counselors. And do you want to say anything more in regards to that?
I would say, just acknowledging feelings and just relating to your child and letting them know that it's okay to not know how to feel, and let them know that you also are. I have a 3-year-old and he does not know what is going on, and so there's been a lot of really big feelings at our house, and so I've had to do a lot of just acknowledging his feelings, just stopping what we're doing, acknowledging his feelings, letting him know it's okay, and then just kind of moving on and doing something, engaging with him. But I think that's the biggest thing, is just to let him know it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got another question. This is from Brittany Johnson Duvall. and she said, can y'all explain the hand motions? And this is in reference to the mystery box, Brittany. So your lesson when you were, so if you can explain that.
Yes, I can. So in the classroom, we talk about stretching out the words. So we talk about how we could use our body to help us sound out or hear the different sounds in the word. So it's kind of like head, shoulders, knees, and toes. So we kind of do the head, the shoulders, we go to the waist, your knees and your toes. We don't ever get that far because we usually are doing just CVC words or single syllabic words. So so if you had the word cat, you would say going onto your hips. Sorry, you can't see my hip there, but yeah. So it's just helping them isolate each of those sounds. And so when you get to those tricky words that kind of start to, when kids get older and you start dealing with blends and diagraphs and things like that, it really helps them, you know, isolate those sounds, and they continue to use that skill and strategy.
Okay. Have another question. This will be actually our final question, even though there are so many good questions. We might be able to try to answer some of the questions just through chat versus our live, or, you know, these teachers explaining or answering the questions through this live event. But this will be the last question that we answer. And it is from Billy Joe Sutton. How are you preparing for the future, or are you just focusing on the now?
One day at a time.
The $1 million question.
Who wants to take that one? I think that we are just doing the best that we can, and with the information that we're given, because I think as a school, it's so much that's up in the air right now. As a state, as a country, like there's so much that is unknown at this point. So we work at Drew's Charter School, so we're used to like just rolling with the punches the best that we can. You know, it's a lot of things that's like, we have a tour coming through and you have to know when to switch gears. And so that's what teachers do. And so I feel like we're somewhat prepared because we're teachers, and you never know what you're going to get when you have a student coming into a classroom, and it's always something different. And I think that's just, right now, the world is a big classroom. We're all learning as we go and figuring this out. I mean, this whole e-learning thing was a new situation for us, and we just had to like buckle down and figure it out quickly so we can make sure that our kids get the best experience that they can. So we are thinking about what is to come ahead, but it's just, we're so unsure of what that will be and what it will look like, but we'll be ready and we'll work as a team to figure it out. And it's great to have this partnership with Cox Campus with the resources that they have. And so that's also very helpful, you know, just to be able to pull from their library of resources and videos. So if you guys have not done that, make sure you do so.
Yeah. Because
it's a great resource. So
we are done. This has been amazing. I just want to give, and I want us all, if we can, virtually give a round of applause to these three amazing ladies. This was their first ever live event, not just live with Cox Campus, but it was their first ever live event, and I just feel like they crushed it. Probably because they're teachers, and teachers just are awesome. But this was such a fun event. I hope that you all had a great time too, and that you learned a lot. Again, we're going to try to answer as many questions as we can via chat. We will post all of the links that were mentioned in this video, and then there are lots of other resources that weren't mentioned that that are on Cox Campus that we will also link to this video or in our event group. But we are done. It is 5 o'clock, so we have to close it. We will be here again next week on Thursday at 4 o'clock, kind of going over the same, topic of virtual learning, distance learning, but we will be covering different things with different resources. So please join us. Any other closing remarks? I don't think so. It was just
you're hanging with us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We'll look through all the comments later, and we will see you again on Thursday at 4 o'clock.
Bye.
Bye.